It's bizarre that President Donald Trump is suing BBC for $1 billion US, and this is because of a report that aired on BBC's program called Panorama that seemingly looked like they edited President Donald Trump's address in 2021 just before the Capitol protests erupted. Now, BBC's head of news and also CEO, that is Deborah Turness, was forced to exit office. Literally, she resigned immediately because this story erupted, causing an explosion of so many things, that what followed thereafter were lawsuits from President Donald Trump. Now, they caught up with her, and this is what she had to say in regards to BBC's operations, especially in the newsroom, and what that means as well for other journalists. Let's hear for it.
I would like to say it has been the privilege of my career to serve as the CEO of BBC News.
Deborah Turness, outgoing head of news, this morning insisted the BBC still had much to be proud of.
Of course our journalists aren't corrupt. Our journalists are hard-working people who strive for impartiality, and I will stand by their journalism.
Is there institutional bias at the BBC?
There is no institutional bias. Mistakes are made, but there's no institutional bias.
A few hours later, there was another shock for the institution she is now leaving. A letter from President Trump's lawyers sent to the BBC chairman.
Has he said that he's going to be suing the BBC?
I do not know that yet, but he's a litigious.
My reaction to this is a question. Should a president sue a media company, especially when it's not best in his country? Because BBC is as international as Al Jazeera, equally in terms of competition and performance, alongside CNN. CNN is the America's, it gives the America's perspective. BBC gives the UK's perspective. Al Jazeera gives, the Arabic perspective. France 24 gives, the French perspective of broadcasting, and even literally everything. DW gives the German version, So, should a president sue a media company that's not best in his country? Let me ask you, how many times has CNN aired edited bites that potentially would trigger President Donald Trump to react? In fact, it has been a long, endless battle between Trump and CNN. I don't know why he's never sued CNN, but I'm speaking as a journalist as well, because basing off on what this means for BBC's structure in terms of in broadcasting, editorial, storytelling, it's going to be massively affected. Now, previously I've seen even former head of news and directors as well were forced to resign when so many other things erupted that were politically related. But you need to understand that when it comes to media, what sells is propaganda. Propaganda and, say, politics. Politics is likely to blow up the shares, the clicks and the likes and the reactions because of the left and the right. But as an editor, you are literally stuck caught between a rock and a hard place, because you are supposed to be impartial, you're supposed to be professional while editing that bite. But remember, it's not an individual choice or decision for that bite to be edited in that design. So this was a collective agreement between not just editors, senior editors. And so I know this means a lot to the BBC newsroom, especially now it's head in London. And it's interesting because $1 billion is not money that can be raised within a day. Even if you're a billionaire, even a bank has to actually go through a process before they, sign, co-sign, or agree to that kind of money. So that means a lot. It could plunge the BBC into disability if Donald Trump doesn't lower, because Donald Trump pushed for it and he sent his lawyers. But Donald Trump has a hold on literally everything. Wasn't it just the other day he sued, is it CBS or MSNBC, where they paid him, I think, $16 million plus, So it's difficult to live and operate as a media company in the world of Donald Trump. What does that mean for the future of broadcasting? What does that mean for the future of storytelling? What does that mean? Because Donald Trump has a hold literally on everything. In tech, he has all the billionaires, meaning he runs social media. I don't know, Fox literally looks like it aligns with Donald Trump, right? Donald Trump has his own media empire. Is it media empire franchise? Social media, he got it, Truth Social. X, he was close to Elon Musk, previously Jack Dorsey. What doesn't Donald Trump own? Everything. So that makes it even harder and difficult to operate as an independent news producer or production company. And that's just ridiculous. You know, speaking as a journalist myself, that can take a toll on you professionally. So it means that you are running on and walking on eggshells, treading carefully, because if you annoy somebody up there, then you're likely to plunge into a black hole. I don't know what you make of this and the response, especially when it comes to impartiality and biasness, you know, when it comes to broadcasting and propaganda media, which is a very lucrative business in this day, age, and time.